Hey, good morning. I'm out here today on King Ridge Road with none other than Miss Cools. Good morning, Miss Cools.
Good morning.
All right, yeah, it's been a bit of a start here. King Ridge is quite a steep climb, and we are now getting close to the summit where there's lots of rollers and some downhills, and then a final little climb at the end. And I wasn't sure if I was going to film this today because I've filmed up here a whole bunch, and I don't know how many more square inches of this road I can film and still keep it interesting. So, but the weather's perfect, and I guess I thought it would be fun to pull out the camera and get a few shots. So for those of you who are avid cyclists, you probably know about this road. This is a very popular cycling road. It was really probably brought into more of a mainstream status within the last, 15 years, 20 years maybe, with the King Ridge Grand Fondo that goes each year. But this road has a long history prior to that in the cycling space or world, and it goes back. In fact, one of my neighbors mentioned to me that he moved here approximately 40 or 45 years ago because of the cycling that's here, because of this road. And he's from an area in France where cycling is incredibly popular. Hold on, I'm gonna do this descent real quick here. Yeah, so my neighbor, he's from an area in France called Brittany, and it's a really popular cycling area. I've never actually been there, but he talks about it a lot. And when we sat and talked about cycling in this area, he specifically moved out here because of this road and lots of the other roads that are out here that are really good for cycling. They're really quiet. You don't get a lot of traffic out here, and that makes it ideal. And a lot of these roads are really narrow, but the views are always stunning, absolutely stunning views. So I've really loved this area, and I haven't yet found, at least in the tours and the bikepacking trips and things like that I've done, that I've found an area which has this much cycling diversity and options to ride on a daily basis that you don't get kind of bored of. You don't have that kind of mundane feeling of just repeating. I never feel like I'm repeating the same ride, even though I often ride the same routes. What do you think, Miss Cools? When you're out here doing these rides, do these ever feel like repeats to you?
Do they ever feel like what?
Like they're repeats. The rides feel repetitive, or do they always feel like a little bit different each time?
No, they always feel a little different. Yeah.
Like, do you ever get bored of the riding out here?
No. No, I never do.
So here we are. We're up on King Ridge at the top. This is a very familiar site probably for some of you because I've filmed this spot. If you've done the Grand Fondos, you've ridden through here. And this is when you really start to get a peek of the views. You really start to see what's around. You got all those hills over there to the east, out towards Armstrong Woods. To the north, you have, we'll get up here and I'll show you. To the north, you have Skag Springs Road, which is a road that actually one of my first very early YouTube videos that I made, I actually rode this ride Plus I did Skagg Springs Road. We always call it Skaggs for short. But King Ridge, Skaggs are like, this is like the pinnacle of, you know, West County cycling. Skaggs can be brutal on a hot day, so I don't recommend it on a really hot day. But maybe if you do it in the morning, it's fine. But you don't want to get caught up there on a really hot day and short on water, because it's very, very remote and there's very limited resources out there. So anyway, I'll get up here and show you to the north Skagg Springs. Okay, so right over here to my right is Skagg Springs Road, or Skagg Springs. That ridge over there on the skyline, that's Skaggs. And that peak over there is towards the middle part of that route. Depending on the direction you're going, you might be going up that climb at the end if you're coming from Healdsburg, or it'd be the first main climb you would hit coming from Cazadero. This is the end of King Ridge Road, and this is where you have to make the big decision. So you have to make a choice here. You've got Tin Barn Road to the right, or Hauser Bridge Road to the left here, and both are great options. But it's up to you, Miss Coles, today. What are you in the mood for?
Oh wow. Yeah.
More miles that way, or start working our way south down the coast this way?
Both choices are really good, are really amazing. Going that way goes out to Stewart's Point, and it's one of the most beautiful spots along the coast around here. But that way is also beautiful too. So I think I'll have to think about it for just a minute. And
yeah. Well, when you make it up here, you're in a state of mind where you can't be in a rush. So take your time. I'm gonna eat this apple. a decision was reached, and the verdict is we are going to go down Hauser Bridge Road here. So this is a really steep, fast, technical descent. So be very, very careful if you do this ride. This particular descent starts off fairly gradual, but it gets steeper as you go down. And there have been a couple of cyclists who've gotten seriously injured on this descent. So be very, very careful. And especially towards the bottom, when you get into the shade, there's a lot of hidden potholes and tree roots that are pushing up the asphalt, and you can easily hit one of those and it can buck you off the bike. So be very careful. And you're a long way from services out here, so, and there's very little, if any, cell service. So be careful. Okay, this is the start of the Little Big Climb on Seaview Road, and you wouldn't realize that there's quite a bit of climbing here until you get back and load it up on your Stravas, Ride with GPS's, whatever Garmin's account you might use. You'll see there's quite a bit of climbing on this road. And this climb is always the one that gets you at the end, because it goes on for quite a while and it doesn't look steep, but it's pretty steep. It's like 7-8%, maybe 9 and 10 in some spots. The road is smooth, so it doesn't feel as steep, but when you get to the top, you feel it. So, but then after all of that, you get to ride down Seaview Road to Myers Grade and get the epic descent down Myers Grade. It's the thing that everyone looks forward to because it really marks kind of the end of all the climbing out here till you get to the coast. So yeah. So this is basically the end of the climbing, and now it is all descending from here down to the coast. mostly burned off, and it turned out to be a perfect day today, Miss Schools. Unbelievable. But now we are rolling into Jenner, and what do you say? We stop at the Jenner Cafe, get a beverage or something to eat? Perfect.
There's a blackbird.
Come on, kiddo.
Traffic wasn't that bad even.
It's been pretty quiet today for a Saturday.
I'm not expecting that.
Like band action today. How's that macaroon, Miss Schools?
It's really good.
Is it?
It's really delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolatey.
Tasty. Huh? Good.
What do you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks like it's tasting really good.
Always got chocolate in my.
We're back from the ride, and let's see what I'll pull up the stats here for you. So this ride today was 50 miles and 5,738 feet of climbing. We went really chill. We averaged 10.5 miles an hour. Wow, that is super slow. But we had a good time. It was beautiful. And we filmed a bunch of stuff, so not every ride's a race, as they say. If anyone's still out there, maybe we can do a bonus section here, and I'm going to log into my YouTube account and just pick some random comments and read them. Let's do that. I don't think I've ever done that before. Alright, let's try this. So let's see. I'm just going to look under the first comment section. Someone wrote, the very top comment I have, the very last comment was on the touring the Oregon Outback, and the comment is, make sure you have something to protect yourself. Let's see. What could that mean? I'm guessing you mean pepper spray. But you tell me in the comments. Let's see. Quick tip, how to remove and install a difficult tire on a difficult rim video. The comment is, this was the best tip. Hey, thank you. Thanks a lot. I had a very stubborn Specialized Pathfinder Pro. This was the only way to fit it even without tire levers. Extra tip, I used gardening gloves for some extra grip. Good tip, William. And I have used gloves before, and it does help because it can help you roll that last little bit on. So that was the video that Omar and I did. Omar showed us how to put on a difficult tire, and I've been using that method ever since, and it hasn't failed yet. On every wheel and tire I've used, it works flawlessly. And let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's go back and find some old ones. This was on my post about the scam. There's a scam going on. I'm sure many of you have already seen it now, where somebody's creating fake accounts, trying to mimic the person. You know, like they'll use your logo and then they'll make a second account and they'll call it something similar, but they'll change the name a little bit, and then they'll go in the comment section and tell people that they won prizes. Well, first of all, I think many of you who've been following me for a while, you know that we're not offering a lot of prizes here. Not to say I would never offer a prize, but you will hear it directly from me on a video if I am going to offer some sort of a prize. I'm not going to go randomly through the comments and notify people. That just wouldn't be me. Let's see. Ooh, I'm gonna just keep scrolling here. Let's see. Kevin asks, on my video Old Kaz the Other Way cycling vlog, do you know or guess your average watt? I have a spin bike and I want to know when I can transition outside and be okay. I don't know my average watts. I don't actually run a power meter on my bike, and I do upload my rides to Strava, which gives you an estimate on your average speed or average power output. And I think it's fairly close. I've seen other videos online of people doing comparisons with the built-in algorithm that calculates the average wattage compared to an actual power meter, and they're pretty close. You know, of course you have to put in the correct weight of the bike, and you have to put in your overall weight, which changes every day and every week and every month, and so it's not perfect, but it's probably a pretty close estimate. So I don't know, my average is probably, for just going around riding around, it's probably under 200 watts, between 150 and 200 watts, and that's just cruising around. And then if I really was trying hard on a climb, you know, it's probably 300 to 350 watts from going, as you know, really hard. I've never checked it, so I don't know. I used to train with a heart rate monitor on, and I felt like that was an insight to how you were feeling that day and just what your efforts were. But I never went over and started training with a power meter. It is something that I would like to do one of these days, though. So you want to transition outside? I would say transition outside now. That, I don't know. To me, riding a bicycle is about going outside and being outdoors. I used to ride a trainer indoors years ago, and I absolutely hate it. And I know Zwift came along, and it's definitely made it probably more interesting, but I live here for a reason, and I want to be outside, and even if it's raining, I like to be outside versus being inside. So my advice, if you can, is transition outside now, and then ride your trainer only when the weather's really bad or you're limited on time. Let's go way back. Let's dig deep. Let's go deep. Here's one from an older video I did on this bike, where I said, with any decision comes a compromise. Why I chose rim brakes over disc. And here's the comment. Great video. Thanks for the run through on your bike build and its handling and performance capabilities. It's a beauty. Any chance you can publish the complete specs on your custom bike? Thanks again for the video and all the effort you put into your channel. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. I did put all the specs in the video series that I did for this bike. I ran through all the specs on it, the tubing, the diameter, the wall thicknesses, all the components, pretty much everything that went into this bike build over on that in that video series. So if you find that, if you're interested in watching it, I would check it out. So I don't want to repeat all of it here because it just gets really nuanced, and it can take a minute for me to go through and remember all the tubing specs. But thank you. Appreciate that comment. Let's scroll down. Let's see. I'm scrolling randomly and then seeing what shows up. Here's one. Hi from Brazil. Love your bike. Very good channel. Right on. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's try another one here. Here's one on my mechanical failure touring the Los Padres, California bike touring ride. And this comment came in. It goes like this. It's always sad to quit and not to finish a ride, but it has been the best decision to care for your bike. The experiment at the end was really cool, and Miss Cools is full of courage to keep calm on that chair on fire. I wished we had mechanics in our town like that. He gave it all to rescue that part. All right, well, thank you. Yeah, so the video was the video where I failed to finish the Los Padres tour this year. I had a free hub body that exploded, and it was on a head hub, so it was sort of proprietary. It was older, and I wasn't able to find a part. We tried to fix it. It actually worked pretty good. I just didn't want to take any more chances. So I called it quits, and I headed home early on that tour. And I don't regret doing that, because if you've watched my channel, you know I'm not one to necessarily push through at all cost. Maybe if I was 20 years younger, I might, but these days I try to take a more sensible approach to things. I don't know. I feel like at some point there's, I want to go home and I want to replan and I want to start over. I'd rather do that. And I do plan to go back, and I will finish it. And if you've seen my videos, you know that I like to do rides, and if I don't finish, I always go back and make sure I finish it. Wow, lots of nice comments. A lot of them are compliments. A lot of them are sharing some stories of people who've done the similar rides that I've done. Here's a good one. On the touring Oregon Outback, and this comment is, I insist to have fenders on my bicycle as I do not want to be sprayed with wet on the ground to my front and back while cycling. Absolutely, 100%. Now, we rode that tour without fenders, but I'm a huge fender fan. I don't like having stuff spraying all over me. And actually, what really, these saddlebags are pretty good, but yeah, definitely getting that spray on the water bottle is nasty. Okay, come on, let's see. Got any more questions? I'm sure this is super long. Probably won't be watching all of it, so maybe we'll have to wrap it up. One more. Here we go. Okay, 650B versus 700C. Which one is better? That was the video, and I still don't know, actually. I think the 650B is great. I think 700C is great, but I'm still not sure if I could say one is better than the other. I know each one has their own advantages and disadvantages, but I don't know which one I would say is better. Here's the comment. If 650B is better than 700C, why not 26-inch rims? I agree with your reasoning about acceleration, but a 700C rim preserve inertial energy like a car engine flywheel. All road sport bikes have 700C rims because sustaining speed better than a small rim. Okay, so if you look at that video, if you go back and watch it, we calculate the inertia of the wheel. Both the 650B with the wide tire and the 700C with the narrow tire. Now, if you're comparing a 700C with a wide tire to a 650B with a wide tire, presumably the same tire, then you're right. The 700C with the heavier tire will have more inertia, which means it'll spin longer once the forces are removed from the wheel. It'll carry its momentum longer. That is absolutely true. Inversely, it's also harder to get it to spin up. It takes more force or more time to increase the velocity of that wheel. So it's going to take more to accelerate it. What I was comparing in my video was that 650B with the wide tire had a very similar moment of inertia. I called it moment of inertia. You can call it mass moment of inertia, or second moment of area, I think is what a lot of people call it. It's really the mass moment of inertia because I was calculating the masses acting at a distance from its rotation point, which is the hub. So anyway, so in that case, what we found was that because the tire is lighter on the 700C, it actually, with the weight of the rim being, the mass of the rim being further out from the rotation point of rotation, the tire being lighter, the actual inertias were very, very close to the same. So in that case, the acceleration would be basically the same. There is a subtle difference because the masses of the wheels are not identical. So good. Thank you for that comment, though. I do like those technical questions, and but I don't get a lot of them. And then let's see. Thomas says, "Did you get any sort of FKT? Fastest known tofu." Oh man, we got so much tofu on that ride. Miss Coles, do you remember how much tofu we got when we were riding the Oregon Outback? We got a lot of tofu, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
We got actually it's the finest known tofu. Shh, didn't read it carefully. All right, well, anyhow, I think I'm going to end it there. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments. If you have more comments and you want me to randomly select through, just leave a comment and I might pick it for a future video. So thanks again everyone for watching, and I'll let Miss Cools know that you guys enjoyed this video. So till next time, you coming out? This is live. We're live. Live on YouTube. Wow. No, it's recorded. All right. See you later.